matrix, expand our minds, and make us all think. So welcome in, everyone. So this morning, I want to take us deeper. Over the last two teachings, we opened 5 cracks in reality. And by the way, sorry I haven't been on here in several days. I was in the hospital for a while, had some hiccups, but we're here, we're live, we're kicking it. So over the last two teachings, we opened up about the 5 cracks in reality. We looked at vision, and we discussed that the eye do not simply show us the world as it is. The brain fills gaps, and it predicts, and it edits, and it takes fragments of light and turns them into stable pictures. And we looked at matter, and we discussed that what feels solid is not actually solid in the way we were actually taught. And what we call touch is force meeting force. And what we call an object is a pattern of relationships. And then we went into time. We saw that the present moment is not as simple as a point, and it is memory, sensation, prediction, and awareness woven together. And we looked at language, and we saw that the world are useful, but we saw that words are useful, but words can freeze a living reality. And we say, this is a tree, this is my trauma, this is who I am. It's something we forget. The thing that we have named is still moving, changing, breathing, becoming. And then we entered the final crack, the self. We asked, who am I? Beneath the name, beneath the memory, beneath the roles, beneath the body, changing sensation and the thoughts that arise and fall. And now we come to the next layer. Because once you begin to see reality as edited, constructed, filtered, and interpreted, a new question appears. Who has been feeding the editor? Who has been shaping the thoughts you repeat? Who has been directing your attention? Who has been teaching you what to fear and what to chase and what to call success and what to call failure and what to believe you are? And the deeper question is this: what if the greatest prison was never built with walls? What if it was built with your attention? Now, I'm not saying that life is literally a computer program, but it is. I'm not saying that your phone is evil, but every institution is securely trying to destroy you and get your attention. But I am saying this: a human being can be conditioned. A nervous system can be taught fear, mourning. A mind can repeat stories until those stories feel like facts. And a person can spend years staring outside of themselves for answers that were actually waiting to be discovered inwardly right here. And when you understand that, you begin to see that the real work of awakening is the work of not to escape life, is the work is to become conscious inside of the life itself. And the work is to stop giving every thought authority and let it have as if it's ruling you. And the work is to stop letting every fear become a god. And the work is to remember who you are and who you were before the world told you that you were small. So this morning we are going to speak about projection. We are going to speak about reprogramming and programming, and we are going to speak about your attention and how it's been caught. We're going to speak about fear, distraction, religion, technology, and the kingdom within, and the divine memory that has been sitting inside you this entire time, the blueprint of your original design. So take a breath. And let yourself arrive. Feel the body. Feel the chest rise. Feel the breath. Feel the room around you. And say quietly to yourself, I am willing to see what has been shaping me this whole time. Not to judge it, not to hate it, not to become afraid of it, but to see it. Because the moment you can see the pattern, you are no longer completely trapped inside the pattern. The moment you can observe the program, you are no longer only the program, you become the one who is aware. And awareness is where freedom begins. See, there's a screen, and the projection is, let's begin with something simple. Imagine a movie screen. You know, on that screen you can see the forest, the oceans, war, romance, terror, joy, cities, faces, births, an entire world. And you can laugh at what is happening on the screen, and you can cry, and your heart can race, and your body can react as if the story is real, but the screen itself is not afraid. The screen is not drowning when an ocean appears on it. The screen is not burning when the fire appears on it. The screen is not wounded when the character is wounded. The screen allows the image to appear. And because the images are vivid, we can forget the screen. Because we absorb the movie. We become captured by the moment. And now I want to offer a metaphor, is that your awareness is like the screen. The thought appears, a memory appears, fear appears, feelings appear in your chest. A voice tells you that you are behind, and another voice tells you that you are not enough. And a memory from 10 years ago appears as if it is happening in this moment right now. And a person says something, and suddenly your entire nervous system reacts. And the images are intense. A story is powerful, but something in you is still here witnessing all of it. Something in you notices the thought. Something in you notices the fear. And something in you notices a body's reaction. And that notices is important. Because the moment you recognize, I am watching this thought, you have created a little space. You are no longer saying this is the thought about me. You are saying this thought is happening in me. Hi guys. And that is the beginning of a different life. And now we have to be careful here, is because the outer world matters. Bodies matter. Health matters. Trust me, I know. I was just in the hospital. But I wasn't taken by what was going on. I observed what the body was going through. And people matter. Grief matters. And the things that happens to us are not always imaginary. But this meaning we attach to what happens, the internal reality we build around it, is often shaped by previous experience, belief, trauma, and expectation. You know, two people can hear the exact same words and live two different worlds from those words, right? One person hears silence from a friend and thinks they must be busy. Another hears silence, the same silence, and thinks they hate me. I'm being abandoned. I did something wrong. The event may be the same, but the projection is different. One person walks into a room and sees people laughing and thinks they're laughing at me. Another person sees people laughing and thinks they must be having a good time. Same room, different interpretations, different emotional reality, and different body response, different behavior. So the world we experience is never only what happened. It is what happened plus the meaning of our minds, what it added to it. And this is why healing matters. Because something we are not responding to in the person in front of you. We are responding to an old wound. Sometimes we are not responding to the present moment. We are responding to the past appearing through the present. And sometimes we are not seeing for a moment. And resurfacing. I'm messing up the Wi-Fi and I ought to just put my hands down. And how many were handed to you by a parent, a teacher, a former relationship, a culture, a wound, a rejection, a system that needed you to remain unsure of yourself? See, the goal is not to blame your past. The goal is not to blame your future. The goal is not to become angry at every person who shaped you. The goal is to become conscious, because unconscious conditioning drives us. But conscious conditioning can be examined. And what can be examined can begin to change. I mean, let's talk about the computer metaphor. We use a computer because it helps us understand something about the mind. A computer has hardware. It has memory. It has input. It has a program. And it has instructions to run in the background. And sometimes you do not even know what is running in the background until the computer slows down, overheats, crashes, or starts doing something you did not tell it to do. Human beings are similar. In one important way, we also have patterns running in the background, and we have emotional programs, and we have survival programs, and we have beliefs that fire automatically, and we have learned reactions, and someone raises their voice, and your body prepares for danger instantly. You make one mistake and your voice says, see, you are always ruining everything. The rest for one day. And the voice says, you are lazy. You receive love, and your voice says, it will not last. See, the receive praise, and a voice says, they do not really know you, that really know you. Those are programs, not necessary truths, programs. And some of us have been running the same program for so long that we call it personality. This is just who I am, we say. I have always been like this. I cannot change, they say, or I am just an anxious person, I am just angry, or I am just broke. But I want to invite you to consider something. What if that is not even your essence? What if that is an adaptation? What if it was an intelligent strategy that your body and mind developed to survive something difficult? Maybe the part of you that overthinks was trying to keep you safe. Or maybe the part of you that people please was trying to prevent rejection. Or maybe the part of you that stays angry was trying to project a wound. Or maybe the part of you disassociate was trying to survive pain that was too big to hold at that time. So we do not have to hate the program. We can honor that it once had a purpose. But we can also say, thank you. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I do not need to let you run my entire life anymore. And that is reprogramming. Reprogramming is not pretending pain never happened. It is not repeating positive words while ignoring reality. It is not spiritual bypassing. It is learning to recognize the old patterns without automatically obeying. It is learning to pause between triggers and reactions. It is learning to say, this feeling is real, but this feeling is not necessary, and telling me the whole truth. And that sentence can change a life. This feeling is real, but it may not be the whole truth. Your fear may be real. Your body may be activated. Your grief may be real, but your fear does not get to become the final authority. Grief does not get to become your identity. A thought does not get to become your prophecy. A memory does not get to become your prison. You can feel it, you can honor it, and you can listen to it. And you can still choose a different response. And that is not denial, that is true freedom. We call that the currency of consciousness. And we have to speak about attention, because this world tries to get your attention, because attention is one of the most sacred powers you have. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, the nervous system begins to organize itself. And what you rehearse becomes familiar. And what becomes familiar begins to feel true. And if you rehearse rejection all day, your mind becomes trained to scan for rejection. And if you rehearse danger all day, your body becomes trained to scan for danger. And if you rehearse shame all day, every mirror becomes evidence against you. But if you rehearse presence, to notice presence. And if you rehearse gratitude, you begin to notice what is there. And if you rehearse truth, you begin to recognize lies more quickly. See, psychology calls this selective attention. The mind cannot process everything at once, so it selects what seems relevant and filters the rest. Attention can strengthen what is focused on while other information is suppressed or missed. Now listen. Listen how spiritual that really is. You cannot give equal attention to everything. So your attention is a choice. And if it's not consciously chosen, something else will choose it for you. The news will choose it. The algorithm will choose it. The outrage will choose it. The fear will choose it. The comparison will choose it. The old wound will choose it. The need to be approved will choose it. And the need, you will wake up one day and realize you have spent years giving your life force the things you never loved, and you never loved you back. And that is why we need to reclaim attention. Not by throwing away every phone, not by hiding from the world, but by becoming intentional. What enters my mind first thing in the morning? What am I feeding before I even speak to myself? Is what do I scroll when I feel uncomfortable? Is what do I watch when I feel empty? What do I keep returning to when I want to avoid my own inner life? Now again, technology is not automatically the enemy. A phone can help you call a loved one. It can help you learn, and it can help you create art, and it can help you find community, and it can help you listen to a teaching like this. But every tool, ask a question. Who is using? Who? Are you using the tool, or is the tool using your attention? Are you choosing what enters your mind, or is your mind being constantly pulled by whatever is loudest? You have to ask, because attention is your life. Your attention is your prayer. Your attention is your offering, and your attention is the doorway through which reality becomes personal. So this morning I want to make a commitment, not a dramatic one, not a one based in shame, but simply commitment. I will notice what I give my attention to. And that is it. I will notice. Do not shame yourself. Do not say, I am terrible, I am addicted, I am weak. Just notice. Because noticing changes things. Awareness interrupts automatically. And a life that is automatic can become awake. And what has been taking too much of your attention lately is give people space to answer. You see, the system is distracting. So when I use the phrase, I want to explain what I mean, I do not mean there is necessary one secret group controlling every detail of your life. I mean the system of distraction. We allow that distraction to enter. The pattern, the world of, incentive that profits when you are afraid. Comparing, consuming, scrolling, fighting, reacting, and forgetting to sit with yourself. And there are systems in our culture that benefit from your attention being fragmented. And there are systems that benefit from you feeling incomplete, because an incomplete person buys more, is an afraid person, clicks more. A disconnected person searches more, desperate for identity. And a person who has has forgotten their inner worth is easier to sell. So the teaching is not be afraid of the system. The teaching is this: do not let a system that thrives on your distraction become the author of your soul. Do not let the loudest voice become your inner voice. Do not let the most urgent notification become your deepest truth. Hey, and do not let likes, views, money, labels, standard fear-based messages, or external approval become your God. You are deeper than what is being sold to you. You are deeper than the identity you perform. You are deeper than the role you were assigned. The world will always offer you something to chase, but the spiritual path is what are you running from? Because often, what we chase outside is a replacement for what we have not yet learned to sit within. We chase attention because we have not met our own presence. We chase approval because we have not yet learned to recognize our own value. We chase noise because silence makes us face what is unfinished. And we chase labels because we have forgotten that existence itself is already sacred. And I know that I know that can be very uncomfortable. When distraction falls away, there is nowhere to hide. But there is a gift. When distraction falls away, you meet the simplicity of being alive. A breath. A heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. Sunlight. Water. A tree. A quiet room. The sound of your own voice when you stop lying to yourself. That simplicity is not empty. That simplicity is full. It is full of presence. We forgot because we were too busy looking elsewhere. See, the kingdom is within, not around you. The kingdom is in, and it has been within this entire time. See, whatever someone receives is there. After they receive it, they get to interpret it. They get to observe it. So do not go looking for some kingdom only in the sky. Do not go looking for some kingdom in a building. Do not go looking for it in a person or someone with a title. Because the kingdom has always been within. It's not a place to travel to after death. The kingdom is not merely a reward you earn in the false authority of few start to weaken. And when you stop saying, I am only my body, I am only my failures, I am only my diagnosis, I am only my past, and I am only what they called me, and I am only what happened to me. No. You are a human being with a body. You are a human being with a history. You are a human being who has felt pain, but you are more than the story. And there's something in you that begins watching since the beginning. That spark of the divine, the blueprint of your original design. Something that was within you since you were a child. Something that has been within you and has been the real inner joy. And call it awareness. Call it spirit. Call it consciousness. Call it divine spark. But it is the kingdom. And that matters. Because you're there. You've never left. You just need to awaken and see it and understand.